What's up, guys? So it's just another day and got more returns. It's post-holiday season and it's expected. I'm going to try to check these things to see if they're truly are defective or they just return them. Anyways, guys, so in today's video, what I am going to cover is a question that I just realized that a lot of you guys are really trying to figure out. It's not about like who to trust and what course to invest and all this free content. It really comes down to money, which should be really obvious, right? How much money is it gonna cost me to invest in this journey? And am I gonna be like investing so much money to the point where you can't afford it or you can't sustain the business? So I'm gonna help cover that concern and also talk about the latest course with KT9 version 2 and just other courses involved too. So if you're interested in hearing my perspective and what it takes to really start this business, sit back and I'm gonna go sit down so I don't have to hold this camera all the time. All right, talk to you soon. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you guys stay to the end of the video, I literally just thought of this. I'm gonna give you guys some ideas about how to use financial leverage to afford Amazon. Okay, so yeah, stick to the end of the video and then I'll give you guys some ideas. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna sit down. All right, guys, here we are, 2019 January. Okay, so I appreciate all your guys' comments and everything. I've been trying to respond to emails. It's been great. I've been kind of loving this whole YouTube thing, but as you notice, I'm wearing my glasses because it's freaking cold and snowy, and you know what, it's actually been drying up my eyes, so sorry for the little glare. But all right, guys, let's get right to it. I'm just gonna give you guys the straight answer. Okay, Amazon will be expensive, bottom line. Like, I don't care what anyone else says on YouTube, a few $1,000s, that is just for, they always talk about, that's just for the inventory, right? You have to look at the business holistically. So if you guys haven't seen it, I have a video that breaks down exactly what I spent to get my Amazon business started. And it will vary. Just keep in mind, the cost will vary on how well you negotiate the product. And basically you just have to kind of give yourself a buffer of the unknown, right? You have to estimate what you think it will cost. But at least what I'm gonna lay out for you guys is all the tools, possible tools that you need to get started, and give you a general idea how to plan. Because at the end of the day, I know what you guys are all trying to figure out, because I think that it's a pretty obvious answer and it just hit me. It comes down to cost. What is this gonna cost all in for me to get Amazon started? And I've done it all, right? Just look at that list. I'm gonna provide a link somewhere, and I'll put one in the description below so you can look for it. And I'm also gonna give you a link to the profitability video that I made, because that is the most important thing that's gonna dictate the amount of cost that you're gonna end up spending. Okay, guys? And here's the reason why. What I've learned is that the product that I picked didn't have a high enough ROI, okay? The return on investment on it was about 30% margin. It was a little bit higher. You try to aim for like 50, 60%. But the problem is, I started at that point, and then by the time I got to the 30% mark, that didn't account for marketing and advertising that a lot of these courses didn't talk about, that amount of ad spend that you have to potentially spend to get your product ranked, to get your product driving traffic to your product. Because the reality is Amazon is far more competitive today. It's not impossible to be successful because there are students who are doing extremely well, but the only key difference I found wasn't the execution, it's the product, right? So I know they say don't spend so much time doing product research, pick the one, but like pick the right one, think through it, what it's gonna cost you, or potentially cost you in terms of customization, differentiation, right? Gone are the days of just finding a product and throw it on Amazon. You literally have to go and do your due diligence in the market. There's tools out there. If you guys want me to cover a video on some of those tools, I can do that. But at the end of the day, let's assume you find a product that meets all the criteria. There's tons of free video and content that you can watch on product research, okay? But at the end of the day, finding a good product that meets those criteria is just the first step. You have to think about, okay, look at the market and how can I differentiate, and then what is that gonna cost me, right? Whether it's bundling, whether it's the packaging and all those things, like you're gonna have to contact these suppliers and figure out your costs all in and do the math, okay? And I provided those videos. I have a video again on profitability that can help you calculate what your buffer of income that you can use for advertising, right? And I'm gonna tell you this much, I'm averaging about anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 in ad spend. And it really eats up your profitability. So you're gonna have you need to have a very good product that gives you the highest ROI. So you have some room to do that discretionary spending on advertising, okay? Or the unknowns, right? You also have to account for, like, obviously, when I get refunds and stuff like that, that gets deducted. Defects, you lose them, you lose money from that. But at the end of the day, guys, it comes down to the actual product that you're trying to sell on Amazon. Yes, it can meet the criteria of, hey, it's a low barrier of entry in the market. There's low barrier of entry in terms of number of reviews, right? There's a need for it, blah, 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 blah. You get it. There's tons of content. I'm not gonna go over that. But at the end of the day, it's the type of product that you're trying to sell, and can you differentiate, and what will it cost you to differentiate? Because in today's landscape, you're gonna have to spend more money to be different because of how competitive it is on Amazon, right? That's the reality. So anyways, if you can find one that is like the lowest cost, and then you might find like a golden nugget, right, in the market. The rest of the stuff, the blueprint, any of these courses it's just execution. It's really straightforward, right? The number one variable that I found was, the product and how you optimize your ad spend. And every product, every advertising is dependent on the product, because some products have less competitive keywords and some have more, right? So at the end of the day, it all funnels down to the product itself, okay, guys? So it's not a question of whether or not Amazon and the business model is gonna work or not. It does. It's just like any other business. You're gonna have to find a product that people care about and that you're solving a specific problem, and that you can differentiate enough to be, one of the best products out there to be on page one, okay? So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna let you guys know that in my videos, it's gonna cover the actual cost. It's gonna be more than a few $1,000s. And I understand at the end of the day, as someone who's brand new like myself, who's just getting into e-commerce and Amazon, that it is really important to try to find ways to minimize the risk of loss, right? That's our fear. And so do the research, and then you can plan appropriately, so that way you can minimize the losses. You will not be profitable, right? Majority of the time, you won't be profitable within the first month because of the amount of ad spend you have to do, and you have to spend more money in the second month, which I explained in my other video, because that money in your first month is not going to come back to you right away. So to avoid losing your position in Amazon, you have to invest more product so you can stay on top and keep up with the pace. And so you have to put those things in account, right? So without going into detail, just check out the video, and I talked in detail about all of that. Let's jump into the second thing. So I know KT9 has launched their version 2.0. I did look at it as an existing student who has access to that course. It's good content, like I said in my original review, they keep the course relevant, right? So I really appreciate it. But here's the other thing you guys have to keep in mind. The other courses, like I'm sure you see Kevin Davids, he's a big player in the game. There's Derek Struggle, there's Matt Loberstein, like all these key players, right? At the end of the day, look for the one that will give you like the direct mentorship, because I think one of the things that is valuable for some of the students with KT9 was the fact that they hold like a weekly Q&A session, and it's live. It's a live Facebook session, and you can ask your questions and they'll answer it, as long as they can keep up with it. These guys are really busy. So when I first did my review, they were readily available to kind of respond. And so nowadays they have a lot more students and so forth. They're scaling, which I kind of predicted. their response time might be a little bit slower, right? But they'll get to it. Just have to be patient. And then definitely leverage the Facebook group. It's pretty active. So again, there are successful students in the course. I would say I'm successful in the fact that I was able to launch and get an Amazon business started, but it takes a lot of work. But I'm not one of those where I making 20, 50, 100,000 in sales per month, right? It's only because I made that realization that it came down to the product that I picked. And without knowing what I didn't know about the amount of ad spend, I was stuck with that product that wasn't as profitable. I mean, it's profitable, but not as profitable with the amount of work that you're putting into it, right? So I'm doing a lot of reevaluation for this year. But anyways, guys, so those are my key thoughts. Hopefully you guys found this helpful, because at the end of the day, guys, it will cost you money. That is the reality, right? This is not one of those things where you just find a product and put it out there. It will cost thousands. I'm not talking about hundreds, $100, you know, hundreds of dollars. We're talking about thousands of dollars that you're going to have to put in to start a business. But really ask yourself, if you were to start a brick and mortar store right now, how much money would that cost you, right? Even the amount of money you invest into Amazon is still far lower than some of the startup costs of starting your own store, or e-commerce, or brick and mortar store, right? Oh, here's the other thing too. I'm sorry, guys. In order to leverage, have you guys heard of like financial leverage? Look into the Freedom Chase cards. They offer 15 months of 0% financing, okay? So if you're stretched for money, if you're absolutely stretched, but you have some credit, or you're credit worthy enough to get approved for a card, that could be your Kickstarter, right? You have 15 months or 12 months of 0% financing, and when you think you'll be able to make a profit before then, if you're really committed and putting the money into it, then that can help cover the ad spend, it can cover your inventory, and it will give you some breathing room while you make money on the side, or if you're still working your 9 to 5 and so forth, to eventually, you know, pay things off. So if you're interested in that, I'll have a link below that takes you directly to those cards, so you can take a look at it. Don't worry, guys, there's no affiliate links here. I just don't play that type of game where I kind of force. They're just references. I'm just here to help. So I know that just came out of my mind. You know, I'm trying to do this uncut, but anyways, you know, if you're looking for some financial leverage, check out those cards. Amazon, it's gonna cost you money. It's gonna cost a lot of investment, a lot of time. Could you do it part-time? Yes. It just means that things will come slower. And then, you know, the course itself, guys, you know, at the end of the day, these courses are very in-depth. I would say, you know, they will have everything you need, the blueprint, but it really doesn't matter if you have a crappy product, right? Or a product that's not as profitable or doesn't have a high ROI, okay? So again, if you guys thought this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, as I try to give tips and tricks on a variety of things, Amazon being one of them. So thanks for watching, guys, and good luck, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.